Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back. I'm Crix, and today we're going to be talking about double unused trinkets with your fire mage. Very good option to use. So, what I'm going to do is, we're going to go over the trinkets that I use, and I'm going to show you one of the macros that I use for raiding and Mythic Plus. So without further ado boys, let's get straight into it. Yeah, welcome back guys, and here we are. We're in Ardenweld. Obviously if you're playing Fire Mage, you're going to want to be Night Fae. I haven't tested Venthyr and the other Covenants, but Night Fae just seems higher than all the rest, so that should be your go-to choice. But what we're going to look at is we're going to take a look at the synergy of ×2 unused trinkets for your Fire Mage, and I'm going to give you a nifty little macro for that. And now what I will want to say is you're going to want 2 macros for it, okay? Not just the one, but 2, because you're not always going to want your big pump trinket going off just randomly, okay? You're going to want to save that, so you're going to need 2 macros for it, so you can just modify it as and when you see fit. Okay, so let's take a look at the macro that I use. First of all, though, we'll take a look at my gear. Not uber geared by any means, but the 2 trinkets that I actually use are, I don't have one of them equipped actually, is the Quantum Device here on a 3-minute cooldown. And I use the Sinful Gladiator's Badge Ferocity as my second unused trinket. Okay, now, I'm not much of a PvPer, so I'm probably not going to get up towards the 2.4k rating. If I get 1.8, I'll be quite happy with that. I'm not much of a PvPer. But if you can get it to max level, phenomenally good trinket, because you have an unused trinket every 1 minute for your Combustion. Now, here you'll see on my UI, here and here, I'm tracking the cooldown of these trinkets, so it's always important to remember that you want to have your Combustion with the trinket. So if one comes up slightly before the other, hold it off and don't miss your trinket. It's very important to your Combustion because it creates a tremendous amount of ignite damage. Okay, right, so the macro. This is a very useful macro. Now, we already did a video on how your openers should work, okay? But when you're using this macro, depending on the amount of haste that you have, you want to be spamming your burst macro while your fireball is about halfway cast, okay? The reason for that is that if you don't, sometimes your trinket won't pop, but the other reason is that you pop your trinket as the fireball is traveling to the target, so that your first fireball hits the target under the effect of the trinket, Combustion, and Time Warp. Okay, so let's take a wee look at the macro that I use. It's the /macro. Right, Jericho specific macros. Here we are, and this is my Combustion one. So it's show tooltip, /use 13, /use 14, /cast Combustion, /cast Berserking racial. Okay, so whatever racial you have, you're going to want to have it in there. So the advantage to me having this trinket that is on a 3-minute cooldown, the reason that I'm choosing this trinket, I'm lucky enough to have it. It's a tremendously good trinket. If you can get it or you have the time to farm it, please do. It's very good, especially in raids. But this trinket, then, I benefit from my racial because it's on a 3-minute cooldown that pairs up with the 3-minute cooldown of the trinket as well, plus Combustion. So it gives me every 3 minutes an insane Combustion. Okay, but then every other minute I have my Sinful Gladiator's Badge, so I'm getting a little bit more out of that. Okay, now a lot of people are sometimes confused when they look at videos and they see /use 13, /use 14. This represents the slots that your trinket are in. Okay, so this is /use 13 and this is /use 14. So for this macro, you're always going to want the trinket with the biggest cooldown on /use 13. So you're always going to put it in the top slot here. Okay, and then you're going to put your /use 14 underneath it in the macro. We already did the macro video for Frost Mage, and the fundamentals remain exactly the same. The game will only ever read your macro in the order that you place the text in that macro. So when you actually press the macro key, the game will read it in this order. Okay, so obviously again, if there's anything in there that's going to cause a global cooldown, your macro won't work. Okay, we went over that in a previous video, so if you need to go back and take a look at it and wonder why your macro is not working, that video will help you out, guys. Okay, might even link that one at the end of the video. But in the description, at the end of the video, I will have the macro and stuff in the description for you guys. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going to happen when I actually use a combustion. Okay, so I'm going to leave this open so that you can see the two trinkets popping off. Okay, but also here on my trackers, you can see them popping off here. Okay. So you can see the one on the top side, /use 13, popped off first. Then we're going to night vet. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wait for the next combustion to come up so that you can see the macro actually working. So we're just going to continue to do our rotation. Remembering also that for your next combustion, you want to be pulling your fire blasts and preferably have a hot streak before you pop your next combustion for maximum effect. Maybe shouldn't have cast that fire blast, but whatever. Should be just about right. So here I'm just going to bank that, and I'm going to combust now, and you see the other trinket pop off. And back into your night fray. So a lot of people I see when they're playing, I just want to touch on this quickly because it's not really what the video is about, but against two targets, man, don't be flame striking the two targets. You're going to get more benefit by just single targeting one and casting an extra Phoenix Flames to spread your ignite on it. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell for your double on-use trinket. Now that macro is going to be very useful to you. It's efficient. Do remember, however, that you need to spam the macro when the fireball is about halfway cast, because it will cast your combustion, but it will also trigger your on-use trinket so that your first fireball hits under the conditions of your racial, your combustion, and the trinket effect. Okay, so, guys, if you don't have a double on-use trinket, I highly recommend trying it out. If you don't have one, I see a lot of mages. Sorry, excuse me. I see a lot of mages using the Kabbalist's Hymnal, I believe it is, from Denathrius. If you can get that trinket, it's very, very good. What it will do is it will allow you to reduce your crit here and stack other stats. I mean, my versatility is quite low, but I would like to see it up around sort of 12%. Try to balance my versatility, mastery, and crit, because that particular trinket is very, very, very good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link in this video. I'm going to put a video. I'm going to attach Sludgefist kill that we did, just to touch on a wee bit of the synergy of your double on-use trinkets with the power infusion ability from Priest. Okay, so Sludgefist in particular is a brilliant, brilliant fight for Fire Mage because of our 1 minute cooldown. I just want to show you some of the synergies and some of the crazy numbers you can do with the PIs and the 1 minute cooldowns with an on-use trinket. Okay, so guys, for this video, I think that's pretty much it. Please do stick around and see the Sludgefest Heroic. It will give you some insight as to how to play that fight as your Fire Mage. And yes, you will hear me screaming out for PIs because, you know, I'm a Fire Mage. It's perfect, perfect fight for me. But it's kind of funny. It's a decent kill. And there's some pretty good DPS overall from the guys that I raid with. We're a pretty casual guild. You know, we're going to start our mythic progression next week. But we have a lot of fun raiding. And yeah, enjoy the kill vid, dudes. Enjoy the vid. I really, really hope this double on use guide has given you a bit more insight into how to play your Fire Mage. And I hope it increases your numbers for you. What I also will do later in the week is I'm going to link you a video for a Lady in Nerva kill where I actually managed a 99 percentile. Yes, for my item level bracket, it was ranked 31 in the world, which I was quite pleased with. But again, It's all about that PI with your 1 minute cooldowns. Again, it's another brilliant example of the synergy of PI and 1 minute combustion with unused trinket, because those ads just come in at the perfect time. Do want to stress though, unless your team is struggling on that fight, for DPS, stay on the boss and use your Phoenix Frames to spread the ignite, because if you're a wee bit low on DPS, the DPS check can be a wee bit tight at the end of the fight. So, all being well, that wee bit of info, if you're struggling with that fight, hopefully it helps you out to get it. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Please do stick around to see the Sludgefist kill. It's been a pleasure, as always, bringing this to you. And in light of current affairs around the world, I just want to say to everybody, guys, please stay safe, look after yourselves, look after your loved ones. And I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye-bye now for now.